Hey everyone, Greenbeard here. Welcome back to another MLB 9 Innings 23 video on my channel. So as you can see, what we have in front of us today is a training worksheet. I want to give you guys access to the one I use and walk you through the features. Now that we have the numbers for BIU, I figured it was about time because I can actually update it and make it as accurate as possible. So first things first, this is view only. When you click the link, it will also be view only. Real simple fix in order to be able to edit it and actually put values in. You go to File, you go to Make a Copy, and then click Make a Copy. And from that point on, you will be able to edit it. If there's anything that goes wrong, if you delete a formula by accident or something, then just go back to the original link and make a new copy. So I'm going to hop over real quick back to the Greenbeard account, and here we go. So I think the best way to show you how to use this is by using an example. So real quick, I'm going to grab the values for my Cole Hamels on the Phillies team, and I will input them. And we should be able to then use those values and sort of work through exactly how this worksheet works, right? Cool. So, Cole Hamels. We're going stat by stat. Basic stats, pretty simple. He has 77 location, 73 velocity, 75 stamina, 70 fastball, and 71 break. All right, GI. Currently, he has 75 GI, which gives him 17 location, 15 velocity, 16 stamina, 13 fastball, and 14 break. As you can see, base stats down here automatically update combining base stats and the GI. And as you can see here, it's also doing some weird calculations that don't seem to make any sense. Why is that? Well, I'll explain it to you in just a second, and we will see how these functions work. So, the reason these numbers are all weird is because we have a 5-way tie with 0 in every stat, but when you put in your actual train, it should be a lot better. So, as you can see, this will give you how much the special training is: level 6, level 9, and level 10. But before we do that, to get a clearer picture of how that works, I'm going to put in the train that Cole Hamels currently has. He has 14 location, 23 velocity, 4 stamina, 12 fastball, and 4 break. All right, so, oh, looky here. The special training actually lines up and is accurate. And on top of that, it's designed to calculate those things in and give you the proper values. So we have 71 break plus the 14 GI. That gives us 85, plus the 4 from the train. We have a total of 89 break. Pretty good, pretty simple. And it's effective. This calculator here just makes sure that you're at the GI total you want. And this number here, so the reason it says it should be 48 is because this is designed so that when you're training a card for the first time, it will show you, it's designed so that when you train up through level 17, you should only have 48 points. And then from there, you can put the final 9 in, and you can play around just with these 9 to see, all right, I already have the train through 17. What amp should I use to get where we want to go? So I think that works. So for the sake of argument, let's drop you down to 14, right? So there we go, 48. Well, now we have, this is our train through 17. We have 9 that we can put in. Well, here the problem is we want velocity to be number 1. In order to do that, well, if we put 1 point here, we get velocity to number 2. But we don't know, is that going to be enough to get us the Dom bonus? Well, we'll get to that in just a sec. So for now, I'll put those 9 back in, and as you can see, it's still the same train. Still 23 to velocity. It's just broken down in a way that allows you to play with those last 3 amp ticket values. Special training, manual override. All that means is if you want to see a value for special training that isn't automatically being calculated. So if you want to see a value that isn't 6, 8, or 10 on your special training level, you can turn that on. You input your values, and then it will calculate those values for you and include them here. I almost never use it, but I figured I might as well include it for you just in case if you want to see. Now, in order for it to include a specific special training value, you have to click on this link here, click special training level 6, level 8, and as you can see as I go along, these values are increasing relative to the special training value that they correspond with. So this is how you say, all right, he's a black diamond card, he is level 10 special training. This is how you get those stats added in. But now you're probably saying, okay, that's great. These are base stats, but this doesn't account for the fact that he's a SIG or the fact that we have level 20 on Pitcher Mentor. They're totally right. That's why I've designed these drop downs. Now, there's a lot of options here, so I want to walk through them one by one. First option, what type of card is it? Is it a normal card? No, he's not a vintage prime. He's a SIG, but you also have Legend and Supreme. So he's a SIG. Great. Well, as you can see, it automatically adds those bonuses. It doesn't add them up here, but it does add them down here. So he's a SIG. Great. He's a team card? Absolutely. Black Diamond? That's the only way to get level 10 special training. And it's preset for S tier for team set deck and grade set deck, but if you do want to change those, you can. And as you can see, it updates all the values. Now, highest level of mentor achieved, pretty simple. I have level 20 batter, but, it is a little different. I think it's being a little funky right now, but I'll go and change that right before I make this video public. But that's okay. And so now we have his accurate stats to the game. 144, 149, 121, 125, and 115. But does that hit the dominant pitcher bonus? As you can see down here, it does. So this is a simple calculator. Don't need to touch anything down here, but it will tell you what your base stats are and whether or not you hit the Dom or Fin bonus. So let's say I remove that and I just have the following train that we looked at before, 14, 14, 4, 12, and 4. He doesn't hit Dom or Fin bonus right now. And with these base stats, he's got a Dom bonus of 2. Well, that's not great. That means we need a little bit more. We need a little bit more to get that Dom bonus. Now, if we go 9 straight to our velocity, you would think, well, that only adds 11. That would only give us, or that only adds 9. That would give us 11. However, you're calculating the fact that you're losing 2 from location and adding 2 to velocity because you're swapping special train order. Now, I know a lot of this math can be confusing, and that's what this is designed for, so that you don't have to go through and do this math in your head and maybe mess something up. This is designed to do it for you, and that's sort of the beauty of it. So you've got your Dom and Fin calculator down here. You can adjust any of these. No, he's not Black Diamond. That doesn't affect Dom and Fin, but it does affect the base stats. So, as you can see, pretty simple. If there's a drop down, you have all the options you could possibly want. And he's a pitcher. Well, yeah, again, I'll go through and I'll fix that real quick because it's just swapping those values. But that's all right. Yeah. And so that is the basics of how it works. Now, that's just pitchers. We'll hop over to batters. And the top portion, as you can see here, is the same, just changing the labels. However, we've got something a little more complicated going on here. And the reason for that is that BIU is calculated in a way that's a little bit more complicated. So, in order to give you the best idea of exactly how to use the BIU function, I'm going to go and I'm going to grab the stats off of my Babe Ruth card. And the reason I'm doing that is he has Barrel It Up, which is great. We want to calculate for Barrel It Up, but he has really low speed and he's not a team sig, and I want to see if there's a way that we can calculate barrel it up for him. So I'm sort of doing this with you as we're trying to calculate, can Babe Ruth hit barrel it up? So let me go grab his stats and we'll put them in, and we'll see what we can do for him trade-wise. All right, so he has 81 base contact, 90 power, 85 eye, 62 speed, and 52 field. His GI is almost as ridiculous as his base stats. 20 eye, 9 speed, and 5 fielding. Now, I'm going to put in the train that he has right now, and then we'll go back and we will edit it as we go forward as we try to get him the Dom bonus. All right. So these are his base stats, as you can see. Pretty basic. And again, we're not using special training manual override. He is a diamond, but he's capped special training, so that's special training level 8. He is not a normal. He is a SIG card, but we got to make sure we turn it off because he's not a team SIG. He's not black diamond, and we have level 20 batter, which is also seems to be broken right now. Don't worry, I will go in and I'll fix that. Again, little couple errors, but basically that would be 2 across the board right here. Oh, actually, as a matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, that's not an error. It's just that he doesn't get any mentor bonus because he's not a team card. So actually, there's no problem at all. As a matter of fact, we can test this. If we make him a team card, there you go. Yep. So that was just me being dumb. Anyway, so this is what the card looks like. And down here, we have the final stats accounting for these bonuses. And just like I thought, 124, 150, 138, 88, 72. Great. Does the card hit barrel it up? Right now, we're seeing yes. Why? We now know that with barrel it up, contact and speed need to be over 210. It is. We're sitting at 212. And speed needs to be at least 70% of the contact. So we've got our speed value divided by our contact value, and we're just over 70%. Well, that's great. That means he hits barrel it up. Except, as far as we're aware, barrel up is calculated including a handful of different values, including last boss and control master, and your condition also plays into effect. So here's how we adjust that. Now, I could just take this and say, all right, base level, he hits, barrel it up, don't have to worry about it. Except almost every pitcher at endgame runs last boss or control master, and you're not always going to be in up condition. So if we look here, all right, he's in neutral condition. If he is in down condition, he's not going to hit barrel it up, because now we're looking at it, we're going, well, now all of his stats are -5, which is reflected here, as you can see. And now all of a sudden, he doesn't hit barrel it up. So there are a couple things to take into account. Do you have batter's chemistry? Yes, I have it on a normal card. Yes, I have it on a legend. Personally, I have it on a legend. No matter what, as you can see, whether you have a normal or a legend, this card will hit barrel it up. Great. If you have bad ball hitter or pioneer, then those also give you a buff in-game to your contact, which is great, except, as you can see here, when you increase your contact, you decrease the percentage that your speed is. So having lower speed, like this card does, might get me the barrel it up bonus because he has a little lower contact. But if you suddenly increase his contact with one of these buffs, that buff is actually going to push you out of barrel it up range. So well, we're lucky he doesn't have either of these skills, but if he did, then that would be a problem. All right, so now we get to the juicy stuff. All that, pretty simple. You just put in the values you have. Now, this is a little bit speculative, but now we go through and we look at, does he have last boss? Does he have control master? All right, so let's assume he has last boss level 6. See, if we put that in, both under 70% here and under 210. So with last boss, even with batter's chem, he doesn't hit it if he's in down condition. Is he in neutral condition? He still does hit it. So there we go. That's something important to know. So if I'm content with him hitting barrel it up in neutral or up condition, then we're set. We're set to go. In up condition, look, we still hit it. But if he has control master on a legend, we still hit it in up condition, but we don't hit it in neutral condition because that's taking our contact down so low so that we have the percentage now, but we don't have the stats. So this is probably a little bit complicated on from your part. If you're looking at this now, you're going, well, what do I do? How do I get him to hit barrel it up then? Well, we're looking at this now, and I always want to train for worst case scenario. So worst case scenario, legend, you're in down condition, and you're being buffed or debuffed the most that you possibly can. See, the big issue is we're looking at 182 combined to contact and speed. What does that mean? It means we're going to need a lot more contact and speed to hit it. Right now, the proportion is okay. So if we increase contact and speed proportionally, we should be all right. All right, so we go back up here. What is the primary thing that sticks out to me? Well, it's that right now in special train order, his contact is 3rd. We can't have that. So let's simply swap his contact and I. What does that do? That means that his contact all of a sudden gets to 2nd in the special training order. Now, at maximum debuff, we still don't hit it. We're still off by quite a bit. All right, so let us swap these two stats. And now we've got contact number 1 in special training order. Well, it's a little bit better. As you can see, we're 16 points away, but now the percentage is under 70%. So that means we're going to need a lot more speed. All right, so this is where things get a little interesting. So I'm just going to throw in a random value here. Let's say we need 12 speed, right? And we're sitting at 17 contact. He's sitting at 199. That's fair. But the percentage is good, but we're still a little bit low, right? So what do we do? Well, we have a couple options. And I think one of the primary options that I haven't explored yet is the fact that this card is not Black Diamond. If we take him to Black Diamond, all of a sudden we get +3 to all stats. And we get to max out our special training, which we were not doing before. So when we come down here and look, all of a sudden, we are much, much closer. We're sitting at 207, and we're a lot closer. So we've got this special train order. Now, of course, we are over the cap, which right now would be 57 points. Darn it. This train is impossible. We're not going to get 0 to speed. And even then, we need to increase our speed without increasing, if we want to leave power and I 2nd and 3rd, it's just not going to work, even at Black Diamond. If you look here now, we're just not there. We just don't have the stats on this card. So the next step for me would be going, okay, we need contact 1. We probably want to make sure his power is up pretty high. So unfortunately, in order to get those stats, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to drop I to 3rd in the special training order. And I'm just putting those 4 there because that's a little bit more realistic of a train. So now we've got a little bit more to his speed. We've got an additional 4 points to his speed. Well, looky there. With the maximum debuff, we are still hitting Barrel It Up bonus. So this is not necessarily a perfect train. We're looking at 141, 150, and 128 batting stats at Black Diamond, max special train, and 100 speed. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean he will always hit Barrel It Up. Why do I say that? So if we put him in neutral condition, actually, let's leave him in down condition, because down condition will, as you can see, this percentage will actually go down because losing speed will harm you more than anything else. So, all right, so if we take that away, oh, why aren't we hitting Barrel It Up bonus now? Because the percentage of speed is just a little too low. If we get nerfed by Control Master, that's actually better. Why? Because we have the stats, but we don't have the percentage. So nerfing our contact actually makes our speed a higher percentage of our contact. So if we're not getting nerfed by Control Master and just Last Boss at level 6, it knocks us out of Barrel It Up range. But if we get nerfed by Last Boss level 6 and Control Master, we do hit the Barrel It Up bonus. I know this has got to be super confusing if you're not good with numbers. But essentially, go through. You've got your skills you can set. What I would suggest is go through in down condition, because when you hit neutral or up condition, your speed is going to go up, and it's almost always going to increase the percentage. So you almost never have to worry about it. So set this to down condition, right? Set this to not have Control Master. And go through and take a look. And you can see now he needs more speed. Well, how do we do that? Well, we can do a couple things. If we drop contact by 1 and increase speed by 1, it keeps the special training order the same, but increases the speed and lowers the contact, which means the combined total is going to be the same, but your percentage is going to go up. You now have a higher percentage because you actually took 1 out of contact and put it in speed. Your percentage goes up, but your combined total stays the same. All right, so he hits it at level 6, he hits it at level 7, he hits it at level 8. Wonderful. Now we're getting nerfed. He hits it at level 6, he hits it at level 7, he hits it at level 8. Getting nerfed by a Legend Control Master, hits it at level 6, hits it at level 7, hits it at level 8. Well, that seems pretty foolproof, right? Well, let's just go through and double check that we have the same situation going on for all of these. And it looks like this train is going to be a middle ground where he will, in fact, hit Barrel It Up under any circumstance, no matter what. So there you go. That's how you do it. Pretty complicated. I know the numbers are a little bit weird and can be a little bit confusing. The important things are to keep in mind. You can play around with these sliders. Try to find every combination of these sliders that you can, because that in everything except double up. Double up's only for Supreme. And then unless it's a Supreme card you're training, then you can do what you need to. But that will allow you to go through, and it will allow you to see, does he hit Barrel It Up under any circumstance? If he does, great. If he doesn't, you take a look here. Is his contact and speed less than 210? If it is, then you know, great, I need to readjust this train for more contact and speed. If that's not the case, and again, for contact and speed, you want to check max amount of nerf and make sure he's over that if he's at 210 or over. Now, if he is, great. Then it's not a contact and speed issue. It's almost certainly a percentage issue. You need more speed relative to your contact. That's almost always going to be the issue. I don't really think that there's any card that's going to have the opposite issue. And if that is the issue, what that means is you either need to lower your contact and raise your speed, or you need to rearrange your special train order. With a team sig, you almost certainly will be able to hit it without removing one of your primary batting stats. So if he were a team sig, we could almost certainly have these three stats be 1, 2, and 3 in special train order, because he would get a much higher bonus to speed, so we'd be able to work around with that. So that's a pretty brief overview. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, or I'm on Discord. You can just find me, Greenbeard97. I'm in JFish's server. I'm in AK's server if you were a part of that. I'm in 2018 Fireball server. So if you have any specific questions on how to use it, you can go take a look. But I think this was a good example, because this Babe Ruth card here doesn't hit Barrel It Up when he's max nerfed, and we have to play around with the stats here a little bit more than I would for another card. So if he is, if we take him in a Black Diamond, a simple retrain guarantees he hits Barrel It Up under any circumstance. I think that's pretty good, and honestly, that's something that I might be doing in the future for this card. But even if you're not worried about Barrel It Up, this is a good way to double check your stats. It's a good way to check your special train order and to see what you want to do with your card. So, with that being said, I hope this video was informative. I hope you can get a good use out of this worksheet. Again, if you have any comments, find me on Discord, in the YouTube comments. We can have a conversation there, but hopefully this helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.